Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics.
So it's your understanding that you and Randy Boissonnault and Mr. Anderson are 50-50 partners in the company.
That is not correct. The shares are held by 2256956 Alberta Limited.
Who owns that numbered
I
company?
do.
Cute.
Hey gang, what's up? Just Aaron right here, Question Period Canada. These committee meetings, guys, so Randy Boissonnault was testifying on his own behalf. It seems like he was taking some money that he shouldn't have been. Pretty suspect. Anyways, we've got Mike Barrett grilling him in committee, followed up by Michael Cooper. Boissonnault comes off really poorly here. Let's check it out. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's exciting to watch. Very interesting. Man, Randy Boissonnault does not come off looking very good in these videos. Not at all. Let's take a peek.
Mr. Barrett, you have 6 minutes. Go ahead.
Minister, there's fraud and another Randy in a partner call at your company. What's the other Randy's last name?
So, Mr. Barrett, I do not know the name of that person, as I stated in my opening statements. And before at committee, I have no relationship, no operational role with GHI. I do not know that person in question. That person is not me.
What's your percentage stake in the company?
As has been disclosed in my disclosure to the Commission of Ethics, it is 50% stake in GHI that is held in my holding company.
Who are the partners at the company?
I do not know. It is Mr. Anderson, to my knowledge, is the only administrator of that company.
So,
I have no connection other than holding the shares to that company, Mr. Barrett.
holding half of the shares.
Half of the shares are in my numbered company, as disclosed to the Commissioner of Ethics.
Do you know who holds the balance of the shares?
When I was involved, the last time I looked, it was Mr. Anderson.
So it's your understanding that you and Randy Boissonnault and Mr. Anderson are 50-50 partners in the company.
That is not correct. The shares are held by 2256956 Alberta Limited.
Who owns that numbered
I
company?
do.
Cute.
It's not cute, Mr. Barrett.
There's a question about this other Randy that's been reported. I know the contention, sir, is that you'd like for this to be something that the opposition has created, but this is reported in the media. And the media has uncovered a number of things, including text message exchanges with someone who's named by one of your partners as a partner, and they refer to Randy, and no last name of that Randy is available. The only Randy we know that's involved with the company is a minister in the Trudeau government. Who were the partners in that company in 2022?
I do not have that information, Mr. Barrett, but let me correct the record, Mr. Chair. To your question, I'll go through you, Mr. Chair. I am not the person in those texts. Mr. Anderson confirmed that it's not me. And I have a quote from the article that you're talking about, Mr. Barrett, which is from the Gowie Group, which says, "We have had no direct communication with Mr. Boissonnault at any point in our dealings with Stephen and the companies because I have had no active role in GHI since I was elected in 2021.
Okay. You said publicly you didn't have anything to do with Stephen Anderson's business deals on behalf of your PPE company, Global Health Imports. Is that right?
I have had no active role in GHI since I was elected. And Mr. Barrett, you said yourself in your question this morning, Mr. Chair, may I answer?
Chair,
hang on a sec.
So let's stop the clock. Okay.
Go ahead. I'm going to ask Mr. Barrett to continue. He has another question. Minister, prepare for an answer.
But
go ahead.
On the way the meeting's going to run, I gave Mr. Boissonnault more than twice the amount of time to respond to both of my previous questions than I spent in asking the questions. So if I have a short question and the minister wants to run the clock, that's obviously not going to demonstrate fairness.
I think I made that pretty clear at the top of the meeting, Mr. Barrett, that my expectation today is that as members ask questions, an equal amount of time is going to be given for those responses, Minister, and I ask that all members respect that. I'm not going to be the timekeeper here, other than the 6 minutes, but if I see that a member is going a little bit off in terms of time, then I will intervene. Mr. Barrett,
how much time?
You got 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Go ahead.
Related to deals with the Gowie Group, you didn't have anything to do with the alleged wire fraud?
Mr. Barrett, I have been very clear that I've had no operational dealings with GHI since I was elected, and you, sir, indicated off the start that the Randy in the article was not me.
So that company alleges that you were involved. Are they telling the truth?
That company is not, they're not correct because I've had no correspondence from them, and Mr. Anderson indicates very clearly in this morning's article that that Randy is not me.
So we have text messages implicating you, sir, in this wire fraud, and it was carried out by your business partner to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And one of them reads, and I quote, "What is going on? I just received this from Randy." It's 1314 MST and 1514 EST. It literally takes 10 seconds to complete a transfer. I'm telling you, we are not allocating like this. Please reach out and see what the reason is now. You assured me this was done this morning, first thing, and allowed you to hold this stock today. It's midday and nothing is completed. I'm calling Felix to discuss. Be available for a partner call in 15 minutes, end quote. Sir, it seems like you're trying to conceal your involvement in a matter of fraud. Why?
Mr. Chair, that is completely beyond the pale. It's completely false, and it's not true. The article states very clearly that the Gowrie Group had no contact with me, which is true, and Mr. Anderson indicated that this is a different Randy. Mr. Barrett, your first name is Michael. Mr. Cooper's first name is Michael. Are we to confuse your two identities here at committee when you ask questions of me that are spurious in nature?
Well,
there's more than one
Mr.
Randy
Chair,
here.
I look forward, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Boissonnault being in opposition and having the opportunity to
He asked a very long question, Mr. Chair.
Having the opportunity
He asked a very long question. I have more
And
seconds.
I realize that, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So there are
Mr. Chair,
other,
I have time on the clock to answer that question.
There are other texts as well that outline how quickly you wanted this wire transfer to go through.
Mr. Barrett,
And
that is not me, and you cannot state that for the record.
Can
That is
we,
simply not true, Mr.
can
Chair.
we just
That
hang
is
on a
not true,
sec.
Mr. Chair.
I'm going to, look, I thought I made my expectation very clear at the beginning that questions will be asked and time will be given to respond to that. I am going to Mr. Barrett. Mr. Barrett, Minister, please don't intervene. I'm going to ask the same of the questioners as well. Mr. Barrett, go ahead. You've got a minute and 12 seconds, sir.
Like the lack of respect for procedure at committee, we've seen the same lack of adherence to ethics rules. The minister talked about Canada's stringent ethics rules. His government, of course, including Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, has twice been found guilty of breaking those laws. And that's why we have questions about alleged law-breaking by our witness, by the minister. The company has been trying to get the money back, the company that was defrauded of $500,000 from your business. Where did the money from the
Mr. Chair,
chair?
it is
A chair.
Point of order, Chair.
he is not stating facts, and I
But
cannot
he
let
didn't finish
falsehoods
his
go, Mr.
question.
Chair.
You're going to have ample opportunity to
30 seconds
answer.
was the length
I
of
know
my
you're
question.
protecting his
And
clips, Mr. Chair,
no,
but
I'm
he
not
is stating
actually.
falsehoods.
I'm not actually, Mr. Boissonnault.
So we have a corrupt minister from a corrupt
Ask
government.
Not true.
Question.
That is
Point
simply
of
beyond
order,
fair.
Mr.
Mr. Chair, that
Chair.
is outrageous behavior by that
Mr.
member.
Barrett,
Can I have my time? I've asked for 2 points of order.
I'm going to go on your point of order. Go ahead, Mr. Brock.
I have never, in my almost 3 years of public service, seen such disrespect
Point of
by
order.
a minister
Point of order.
for the procedures
Point of
here
order.
at committee. He's constantly talking over the witness, and now he's talking over the chair.
Point of
It is
order.
conduct unbecoming.
I've got your
order.
point of order, Mr. Brock. I appreciate that. Mr. Barrett, you were at 34 seconds in your intervention. So I'm going to ask you to ask your question. And
Point of order.
Sorry, go ahead, Mr. Housefather.
Mr. Chair, referring to someone as corrupt is unparliamentary. I would ask that you order it be withdrawn.
Sorry, ask that I order it what?
I would ask that you ask Mr. Barrett to withdraw those comments. That is unparliamentary to refer to someone as corrupt.
Yeah, Mr. Barrett, I am going to ask that you withdraw those comments, please.
Alleged corruption by a corrupt government.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barrett. You have had.
That was not a withdrawal, Mr. Chair. That was a doubling down.
We've got a point of order from Mr. Villemure. Go ahead, Mr. Villemure. Allez, s'il vous plaît.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Tous les
Thank you, Mr. Chair. All committee members have accepted to hear from Mr. Boissonnault so that he can explain the situation. And I can't currently understand because everyone's talking on top of each other. That's what I said when we started.
I don't want this to descend into a point where, everybody's talking over each other. And I'm going to enforce that from this. I've been enforcing it, but I'm going to enforce it from this point forward. It's just, it means that we're going to be wasting our time here and not being able to ask the questions that we want. Mr. Barrett, you've had 34 seconds. Do you have a question for Mr. Boissonnault? Because I want to give him an equal amount of time. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Through you, Chair, we'll give the Minister an opportunity for transparency. For a first, Minister, will you provide this committee a copy of the letter notifying in writing that you wanted to be removed as a director from this company? And further, will you provide any financial records related to this company? Will you provide them to the committee?
Mr. Chair, there is a well-established practice done by the Ethics Commissioner that every single member around this table has to go through. The standards are higher for parliamentary secretaries and ministers. I have followed that process to the letter. All of those documents were provided to the Commissioner of Ethics. And, Mr. Chair, the Ethics Commissioner sent me and Mr. Barrett a letter indicating that there was no need. He took the decision that there's no need to look into my business affairs, no need to evaluate them. I have followed the letter to the rule to the letter.
Thank you, Mr. Boissonnault. Mr. Barrett. Ms. Damoff, you have 6 minutes. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chair. And before I start, I just have a point of order. Mr. Cooper has just called me disgusting, and I would ask that he please remove that from. I mean, it's not appropriate.
I'm sorry. I was dealing with other issues.
Point of order.
I didn't hear it, Ms. Damoff.
He's done it
I'm
twice,
sorry.
Chair.
Okay.
Point of
Well,
order,
I didn't
Mr.
hear
Chair.
it, so
Those who
I
live-
apologize.
Mr. Chair, those who live in glass houses should be very
Okay,
careful
that's
about
not a
throwing
point of
stones.
order, Mr.
It
Brock.
is, because
Thank
Ms. Damoff used the very same language towards my colleague, Mr. Cooper. I heard it very clearly on more than one occasion, Chair.
So the chair did not hear it because I was obviously busy dealing with some other issues. So I'm going to ask Ms. Damoff that you continue for 6 minutes. Go ahead, please.
All right, gang, it gets nuttier from here on in. Wait and see. I'd like to take the chance now to invite you to like, share, subscribe, get notified, comment, please. Love that stuff. We'll get back to the video, though. It gets nuts. Goes crazy.
To move along. Mr. Cooper, you have 5 minutes. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Minister Boissonnault, you held the title of partner at GHI before you were elected, correct?
I recall, I actually can't remember that, but partner was the title that I used while I was operating the company.
Thank you.
Mr. Cooper.
Thank you for confirming that. And just at GHI is not exactly a big operation. There was you, there was Anderson, and there were a few employees, correct?
Correct.
And so I pose to you, through you, Mr. Chair, then who was the other Randy?
I do not know who the other Randy was. They were somebody hired
Thank you.
after
You
I
say
was.
you
But
claimed
I do not know who that person
it was
is, Mr.
4
Chair.
seconds, 4 seconds. Mr. Cooper, go ahead.
You have a 50% stake in the company. There's only a handful of people there, and you presently have a 50% stake in GHI, and you mean to tell me that you have no idea out of a handful of people, if not you, who the other Randy is? Are you serious?
20 seconds. Go ahead, Minister.
I have had no operational involvement in this company since I was elected. The company has hired and probably let go people since I was there. I am not allowed to know about the operation of this company, Mr. Cooper, because it is not permitted by the Ethics Commissioner, and so I followed all the rules.
Thank you for that. Minister, that is nonsense, and you know it. But I'm going to go
It's not
to
nonsense,
the text.
Mr. Chair. That is
Mr.
not a fair statement. It's not nonsense. It is the
Let him
truth.
finish, please.
Sure.
Mr. Boissonnault. Go ahead, Mr. Cooper.
Minister, your answer simply doesn't add up. But there's more to it than that, because if it's some other Randy, then why did the Gowie group believe that the Randy referenced in the text messages was you? Why?
15 seconds, Minister.
Mr. Chair, it would be inappropriate for me to have anything to do with operational matters. I stepped away from the company in the fall of 2022. Of course I don't know who the employees are, and in the article today, it says that I am not that Randy.
He's got 3 seconds. Go ahead, Minister.
I am not the Randy in this article, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Cooper.
Doesn't add up, Minister, and if it's not you, how is it that Global News couldn't verify who the Randy was? Anderson said there was some other Randy in charge of logistics, but when Global News looked into it, they found that the guy who held himself out as responsible for logistics is one Edward Anderson, not a Randy.
Mr. Cooper, I have no operational relationship to that company, and so the matters of staff are not in my purview. And let me state again for the record, from this morning's article, from the Gowie Group, we have had no direct communication with Mr. Boissonnault at any point in our dealings with Stephen and the companies, and Mr. Anderson has said that Randy is not me, and I have not received any communication
Minister,
from
Mr. Cooper, go ahead.
this group.
Through you, Mr. Chair, Minister, in looking at the text message from Randy to Anderson, it states it's 15:14 Eastern Standard Time. This is a text to someone who is in Alberta in a text message about a client in California. What is 15:14 Eastern Time? Well, it happens to be the time zone of Ottawa. Just another coincidence, Randy?
I mean, I have no idea because I did not receive those texts, and I have no operational relationship to this company.
Be available
it's
for-
a time zone
Mr. Cooper, just let
in
him
a text.
respond, please.
It's a time zone in a text that I have nothing to do with.
Well,
Mr. Anderson has said that's not
it's another-
me.
it's another
Mr. Gowie,
piece-
Mr.
it's
Chair,
another
Mr.
piece-
Cooper,
Mr. Chair,
Mr.
I am
Cooper.
not
Doesn't
being
add up.
interrupted.
Mr. Cooper, he's got like 8 seconds. Let him respond, please. Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you,
Boissonnault, and then
Mr.
you can
Chair.
ask your next
I am
question.
not the Randy in question. Mr. Anderson has indicated that I'm not the Randy in question, and the Gowie Group has said they've had no
Mr.
communication
Cooper,
with me.
go ahead.
And so not only, Eastern Time, Ottawa, also be available in 15 for a partner call. You said you had previously been a partner. Just another coincidence? Just another Randy?
The operational word in your statement, Mr. Cooper, is previously. I ceased to be an officer and a director of GHI in October of 2021, full stop.
Ed, you got 25 seconds.
Minister, the Gowie Group thinks it's you. Global News can't track down who the other Randy is. The Randy who's texting happens to be referencing Eastern Time. You happen to be a member of Parliament serving a lot of your time in Ottawa. You said you were a partner. The text message references a partner. This is a small operation. You have a 50% stake, and the fact that you can't identify who the other Randy is doesn't pass the smell test. And if there isn't another
Thank you,
Randy,
Mr.
then
Cooper.
you, sir, broke the law.
Mr.
Thank you.
Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
May I
That's the-
respond, Mr. Chair?
It's the end of the time. You can respond in the next round. Mr.
Sure.
Fisher, go ahead. 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Can I start with a point of order? Like, you're out of order, Mr. Cooper.
No,
You can't
Mr.
make
Fish, that's not
comments
a,
like that.
That's
No,
not a
I-
point of
I just-
order.
Okay.
That's not a point of
Respond
order.
to point of
Mr.
order.
Fisher,
Fine.
you have 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics. So we're gonna wrap it up right there. What a crazy all these committee videos, guys. They are wild and crazy. They're fun to watch. Like if you're an interested Canadian in federal politics, it's happening right here in committee all the time. We bring you as many videos as we can. Like, subscribe, share, get notified. We do a live show. It's fun. Come check that out. Check out one of the other videos that are floating around. That's gonna be fun too. That's it. Thank you for watching this one. We'll catch you at the next committee video. There's always something interesting to share as we learn about Canadian federal politics. Catch you next video.